Now, my friends, welcome back. The spirit of play is going on here. You know, it's a playful thing. When you don't know, the way I work, I never know what I'm going to do, you know, because it makes it more exciting that way. And because that's where, for me, the magic and the mystery of art is. So to given this quite a bit of thought, to do it in front of a camera, really different. You know, not something I've done before, but I'll just carry on. Might start with something simple. You know, I'm just looking at this board here, and already, you know, I'm seeing, I cover that and see what you're working on and doing. This is all very, you know, speculatively rough at the beginning. You know, you're going to make any kind of mark, and it's going to have an effect. I was just thinking there, what do I, you know, what would I be thinking about when I would be starting a painting? Because it is really, it's the important time in the whole process, you know, for good or ill. And what comes into my mind, what comes into your mind, as you look at a blank canvas, or you know, the proverbial blank surface, and that what can you create there? Scary, I suppose. Not really. So I'm just going through the drawing, rushing through here, so it doesn't take up too much of your time, but it's being guided by whatever I'm feeling at the time, how the image is developing. Using a pencil there, I could use various things to make marks. Here we are with the paint, the dreaded pink. Started just splashing it onto my image there, putting a bit of a baseline on the bottom. This is kind of developing into a pink owl sail, a boat underneath, and you know, the pink was kind of, might be, you know, a bit of a mistake, but we'll go with it and see what happens. And using a palette knife here, spread the paint around a bit, just getting it on quick. There's me explaining something in speeded up motion, which you wouldn't like the sound of. You can see a few different kind of brushes I'm using here. That's an ordinary house painter's brush. And there's another one which is a bit more of a short artist brush. And there's a kind of long handled, I think a Winton brush, which I use a lot of. Here I am cleaning up the edges with a rag. In oil paint you can go. You can clear it off and you can start again, which is great. There's another tool there I'm using that called a color shaper that I really like. Very good for spreading things around. You'll see it there in a minute. Yeah, it's in my hand, like a little rubber tip thing for manipulating paint. Absolutely brilliant. At this stage I'm putting in details with a graphite stick, like a crayon. Just putting in the little masts of the boat, I guess, whatever it is. Back to the palette knife again, smearing on some paint. It's important just to play around at this stage. That's all we're doing. And then don't take any of it too seriously. Using the cloth again to tidy up a bit there, and just see where I'm going. See, I'm still using crayons and markers and anything you have just to define the drawing. Sometimes you do all of the drawing first, and sometimes you kind of combine. That's me, I combine. Yeah, this is a new tool that I bought. Looks a bit more like a kitchen implement, but I bought it in the art shop anyway. And it makes these kind of lines, parallel lines. Bit of fun. now aside to dry for a while. I'll put it beside the stove, which I have here, and would say next week it'd be dry. That's about it. I have learnt to my cost, bitter cost over many years, not to do too much to stuff. Whether it's going to work or not going to work can't be decided at this stage. Yeah, hello my friends. I'm back at this painting. I'm trying to set up things better each time. Hope you, I think the last time you got too much of a view of me and not enough view of the painting. I'll probably have to get rid of this audio anyway and put in a soundtrack and a voiceover because but a little bit of Haydn inspires me anyway. So now I'm just using a little old stiff thin brush to get these lines on. It's a kind of brown paint. That's just happens to be what I'm using this time. Right, you know what? Something happened there. I just skipped, and maybe it's a good thing because I obviously forgot to press record when I started painting again. But it's such a long process, such a long painting, and I don't want the video to go on forever. So maybe it's a good thing. Here, I'm messing it all up apparently, just kind of making it look a bit more, yeah, haphazard. I don't know, you do these things instinctively at the time, and you know, it doesn't necessarily take away from the end result. In fact, it adds to it. It's a long process, so we'll get back into it. So we're getting near the end of this session, which is part 2 of what I reckon ought to be a 4-part process. I have to kind of formalize it for the sake of making videos. So the part 2 really, which is essentially parts 3 and 4 of the painting process, part 2 of this video, will be where I finish the painting in 2 stages over 2 weeks, hopefully. Not all that happy with the end result here, but it isn't the end result. It's only halfway through, and it often happens. You you do things and you say, no, I wish I hadn't done that. But there's nothing permanent or final that can't be undone in this process. You know, particularly working in oils, as opposed to watercolors or pastels or something. It's one of the great beauties of oil painting is that you can change things. You know,